Hello, I'm MC Toon, and it's Toonsday Night Live, and I just couldn't let a Toonsday go without a celebration. So, welcome everybody. I just got back from vacation today, and I am using StreamYard. So, if you see something a little different than usual, this is StreamYard. Giving it a shot. I used it when I was traveling. But I'm back, and I got a few stories I'm going to tell a little bit. This stream will probably go away. And then I'll re-upload it on my my other channel. If you're a secret super member of that channel, then you'll be able to find it there. Yes, this is low res. It's 720. Should be 720. And yeah, because the StreamYard charges extra to go to 1080. So, oh well. It shouldn't be blurry. It should be 720. Oh, you know what? It might be my did I run into Yogi and Boo Boo? I did. All right. I'm going to pause. All right, this might do it. I might have a little bit of a bandwidth cap going on, but there we go. I'll get into I did get into some of those things. Give me a second though. Some people were wondering, they wanted to see pictures of stuff. Well, I got a flat tire, and it was a big flat tire, and it was a major hassle. So I'll show you that. But I had to convert them all because my camera takes pictures in HEIF format, or HEIC format, not in JPEG or PNG. So I had to ping them up. So it's not 720, you say? Feels like 360. Let me see. Well, all right. So on my little view screen, I can go to 720, but it's still crappy. Wow, you're right. Anyway, it's looking better now, they say. All right, there we go. Good. So I'll show you a few things. I'm a little scruffy even, so I don't like it. I don't like scruffy. But oh geez. I had an interesting day today. I'll go over all of it, but first, I got all these pictures. There's just all right. Let me get the first picture up. So I was camping. I'll put this up here. There you go. There's our campsite at the Yogi Bear campground. What do you think? I'll make that a little bigger for you. That's our camper. That truck is not mine. That truck is my kid's. It's I don't need it that big, but he likes the big truck, and we needed it to pull that camper. So so here's the setup when I did my live stream last week. I showed it on my Discord server before. Here's the view just before I went live. Eddie Reese says, "Hope you brought your picnic baskets." I did. The Yogi Bear campground is I'll go back to that. Yogi Bear campground is fun for kids because every night they play the Yogi Bear movies. So let's see, this picture, this was it didn't come out super well, but this was at KOA in Hayward, Wisconsin. Gowden's Ryber says, "I love your park stream series. It is kind of fun. I figured out if you just go to the Veterans Memorial Park in whatever city you're in, you will have a good signal and a pavilion and electricity." Man Devil, why is an American camper called a ROO? Because that front and back, I think that front and back pop out kind of like pockets. I think that's why. I don't know. Beach 8 has been a member for 33 months. Says, how did you fit all 33 Tiny Toons in that camper? They're close. They stack. They stack, you know. Mini Karen, have you ever considered doing a stream from the trailer's basement? That would be interesting. I'll get into trailers with basements later, I think. So anyway, this is what happened. We were driving home on Sunday, and here it is, sitting, waiting on the side of the road because let me show you what happened. Just driving down the road, not going any too fast. Come on. Here is what happened. There it is, right here. The right front tire blew out right there, just going down the road. So this is my kid's truck. And you see those lug nuts on there? Those lug nuts are theft prevention lug nuts. And turns out you can't get them off unless you have the special key. And for some reason, the special key was not in the vehicle. It was at his house. So here we are. This is Highway 70 going through a national forest or a state forest. No cell service. Nothing. So we're sitting there on the side of the road. Where'd it go? It went away. There it is. We're sitting there. This is back. We backed up a little bit into the shade and just sat there. A guy stopped, and we're like, oh, we're good. And then he came back. He's like, no, I want to help. He's wearing no shirt. He's got no shoes on. He's got a Fu Manchu mustache going. Super nice guy. But, I'm like, guy's a little, I can just hear a little bit of Deliverance playing in the background there. Some banjos going. And in the end, I'm like, we could not get the tire off. He actually drove to his house, came back half an hour later, came back with sockets. I did not know it's a special 10 spline socket. Nothing will get it off except for the special key. So he drives me. I get in his car. We go to where I can get a signal and call my wife's relatives. And he comes with his pickup to pick us up and hooks up the trailer, and I leave the pickup there. This is on Sunday afternoon. Hold on, let me show you. This is how we left it, like this, right there, just sitting there on the side of the road. And that stop sign, you might think, well, that stop sign looks a little, looks like a stop, like a road, right? Well, no, it's not really. Let me see if there's a picture with the stop sign. It's all faded. It's so faded that you can't even see it except for the sticker. There it is. There's the stop sign. Look at that stop sign. This is a forest access road. So we parked it there and called AAA on Sunday there, and hours later, like, we can't find anybody. Call us tomorrow. So I call them to the next day, Labor Day. They're like, we can't find anybody within 60 miles. Try us tomorrow. So this morning I called, and it only took about 4 hours for somebody to show up and pick it up and bring it back to, you can't read the stop sign. There's nothing there. I mean, you could kind of see, I'll zoom in a little more. You can see like the sticker kind of outline from stop. That's how old this thing is. Anyway, so we finally get it. But the problem is I had to get the key. I didn't have a key. I could drive to Minneapolis, 6 hours one direction. But O'Reilly doesn't sell it. That's the only place in the town we're in. So I call in and I find in Marquette, Wisconsin, an hour and a half away. So this morning I got up and called them to confirm they had the part. Drove an hour and a half, Drove back an hour and a half, and I got the key. The tow truck driver delivered it. We changed it and drove home. So I'm a little tired. But it was a good trip. So it gave me a chance to find, if you watch the debate with Dion Smo, I found this for him. I found some vinyl 8-tracks, probably worth at least $1,000 a piece for him. This is in some little store in the town we're in. Newt Donkey, did I get a ticket for parking at a stop sign? No, this was in a state forest. I parked there on Sunday, the day before Labor Day. Nobody was there. And it's an access road to go deep into the forest. Nobody's going there on Sunday, the day before Labor Day or today. So anyway, yeah. So there's the 8-tracks for Dion Smo. We've got some good ones here. Golden Goodies. You can tell it's good because it says golden. Freddie Fender recorded inside Louisiana State Prison. I didn't even read that. Treasury of Favorites by Floyd Kramer. We've got Let It Be. That one looks a little worn. It probably makes it more valuable. Three Dog Night. It Ain't Easy. Rod Stewart. There you go. Hooked on Swing by Larry Elgart and his Manhattan Swing Orchestra. Amazing. Henry Mancini, a legendary performer. Home for Christmas Volume 1. Happy Holidays. Home for Christmas Volume 2. 30 piano masterpiece highlights and 120 music masterpieces highlights. So there it is. This was we were in Iron River, Michigan. So this was in a little tchotchke store. So there it is. Sean said, I sent you an OBS stinger in Discord. An OBS stinger. What's an OBS stinger? I'm gonna have to watch it. Oh, I don't know if you even heard that. Oh, I like that. All right, I'll incorporate that later. Well, if people are interested, you could join. Do I have anything else? I have a couple more pictures. Let's see. More 8-tracks, and then I'll show you in process of changing the tire, how much hassle it is. Look at that thing, just ripped up. There it is, and then the last one, a perspective shot, so the flat earthers can say perspective. There it is, like the wide angle lens. So there you go. There's that. So what else? I've got a few other things. We've got the Cold Moonlight experiment coming. And if you know me, you know it's in here. I'm glad you weren't doing 60 when it blew. I was on a highway. I was going full speed. Might have been going 60. So how did the tire break down so bad? I don't know. That's how it was. So I have, all right. So the Cold Moonlight, I'll show you that. I got a couple things, and then anybody, maybe we can bring some people in if you want. So I ordered a bunch of things for the Cold Moonlight experiment, which is this Saturday. And I probably will have a couple people there. But I have a whole bunch of packages that arrived while I was gone. So I'm going to go through some of them and show you what I got. So just a little preview of, I think this is the lens. Yeah. Here you go. People that don't like it when I use the knife. So a Fresnel lens, because that's how I've always heard it, but I've heard that it's pronounced Fresnel. So I will try to pronounce it correctly. So here it is. I tried ordering a bigger one, but they come from China, so it's about a month to deliver. There you go. So I'm gonna, if the flurfs are right, when the moonlight shines through this, it will make things much colder. And if the laws of thermodynamics are still intact, it won't make things colder. So there's that. I have 3 large 30 amp hour batteries. It's a Chevy 2500 quad cab. Zebulon 181. All right. I don't know what all of these things are. Some of them I won't necessarily show because I don't know what it is. It might be something private. That says made in China. Oh, yeah. That's for jogging, not for cold moonlight. So, what's this one? Roland, my boulder, wants to come in. He's like, now. All right. Hold on. Jeez, he can be a little. Some people are sometimes, they get a little, there you go, Roland. Oh, this is all right. So I get this. I'm like, what is this? It's pink. I'm colorblind, but not that colorblind. That's pink. Like, what is it? Well, it's turns out that if you want to clip something, a Fresnel lens to a desk, you get a clamp on both sides. All right there. And for some reason, it says it's for a practice hand. This is for people that are doing like pedicure training, and the pictures have like a fake hand in it. It looks like Halloween. Oh yeah, here it is. That's what all, but that's what I found to hold the Fresnel lens. Right there. I have so much crap on the floor. In the morning, I'm not cleaning it. It's going to stay there overnight. So there's the plan, is to clamp it to the table. Freddie B needs one of those for reasons unknown. Yes, nipple nipple clamps. Anyway, this is it'll go like this. There it is. And so Gary Wybenga, what do you think? Will moonlight become cold? Oh yeah, you can look at that. You can see you're talking. See that? There's my screen. There's the live chat. People, say hi to yourself. Anyway, so there's that. That's good. I've got a small one. So yeah, Judy's like, you need to go to Baraboo, Wisconsin. So I was in Warrens, Wisconsin, and when I was there, I actually sent her a message, said, hey, I'm in Warrens. She didn't even, I don't know if she responded. She was too busy. Let's see, what does Gary say? What does Gary say about cold moonlight? I don't care one way or the other if it's cold or not. Really? Oh, so you're not one of the flirts that think that the moonlight is cold. Man Devil. I cannot disagree with you, Man Devil. I'm with you there. If you're watching the chat, then. So, what do people think about the StreamYard version? So I'm not doing the producing, so it's good when I'm on the road. Oh, this is not opening easily. There. Round Thinker is here. So Round Thinker, I was thinking about roundness. Thinking about, would you help do some of the Cold Moonlight stuff live? It'll be late enough. All right, rolling my boulder. You don't need to come on screen if you're in a state of undress.
Yeah, you're not gonna get me on screen tonight.
Okay. That's fine. Oh, but we will hear an echo from you.
Oh, geez, I can only hear you through the YouTube, not through the whatever this is.
All right. Yeah, it is darker and grittier. Timbo Turtles.
I do hear an echo. It's horrifying.
Yeah, you gotta fix
traumatizing,
your stuff,
even.
So I got 5, I think, of these little thermometers. So I'm going to shine focus moonlight on one of them, and then according to the flurfs, it'll get colder. Cretan Bull, yeah, it's MC Toon unboxing video. I realized that as I started, like I'm a teenager or something. Well, I guess I am. I'm 13, so there it is. Got another one. This one. Okay, can you hear me properly yet, Roland? Nope. Some cleaner. All right. That's not for the Cold Moonlight. Jiffy Cones. If MC Toon wants to moderate a debate between me and you, Gary Wybenga, I'm down for it. Gary, bring it on. Yeah, this is mildew stain remover for the camper. There's the canopy always gets kind of gross. So, all right, one more. Roland, you get your stuff figured out yet? Final box. Everything came when we're gone, of course. So, all right. Does anybody else want to come in? Maybe somebody who's not a boomer and can figure out how to turn on, how to figure out their audio. Yeah, no porch pirates. Not all 33 kids went with me. Actually, some of them stayed back.
Sorry to jump in.
Yes, Boomer.
Are we live?
We are live.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I figured it out. Even boomers can succeed. Don't give up, guys. Don't let the hate drag you down. Boomers can win. We can figure out technology.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it is. Everybody needs hope. Boomers and flurfs alike.
Oh, all right. Well, this will not be exciting.
So catch me up, because like the past 10 minutes, I've been trying to technology.
Oh, well, I'm opening boxes for the Cold Moonlight experiment.
Hey, I've been helping you with that.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Cold Moonlight.
Yeah, I hope that it is cold, because that sweet Swedish prize will be awesome.
Yeah, I'm very interested in the Cold Moonlight stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I'm interested in anything that a flat earther will stand beside.
That's true, because very few will actually put down a real solid claim.
Yeah, I mean, buoyancy density, stand beside it. Let's test it. Cold moonlight, let's
do you-
stand beside it. Test it.
You can test cold moonlight, but how do you test buoyancy density?
Well, I prefer to take Newton's laws of motion as a, thing. And then if you,
As an axiom.
sure. Well, not exactly, because an axiom is a thing that we both agree on. I'll take it as my hypothesis. And then everything that we can do agrees with it. Buoyancy density is not as clear cut. There's
Yeah.
ample YouTube evidence.
Well, that's not evidence.
Wow.
It's just people making the same claims over and over again.
That's
Because
true.
there's a specific magnitude to the downward acceleration. So how do you test density being the cause of that downward acceleration?
I've asked repeatedly if the people that believe in density buoyancy think that there is a downward force proportional to mass.
Yeah.
That's not called gravity. And I get non-answers. I get things like hot always goes to cold, positive always goes to negative, high always goes to low.
Yes, it's a vague fluff.
And then I say, well, those are just like words that I can't test. They don't mean anything. And then they say, well, you're a sophist.
Here's a challenge. Gary Wybenga says no pilot can show how any actual specific adjustments for Coriolis. It's just pretend. So Gary, here's the challenge to you, Gary, to test your claim. Right? Stand up strong and proud, Gary. How much should that force be for an airplane traveling at 500 miles an hour at 45 degrees north latitude? What is the magnitude of the Coriolis force? Gary, go ahead. You can find the formula. It's not hard. And if you successfully completed high school, you've done the required math. You can do it, Gary. What is the actual quantity, the magnitude of the force? And then let's examine how much a pilot might need to adjust for that. But if you don't do the math, Gary, and come here with an actual quantitative amount, because it can be quantified, then you're just talking nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know the quantity that should be necessarily corrected for. So,
Mr. Toon.
Yes.
Tonight's a little bit of an exceptional night, I think. Yeah?
Yes.
I wonder if we might take, since I have this rather absurd default image next to you, and I don't have a camera to, project my likeness. I wonder if we might invite proposals for a likeness to put there.
Oh, for you.
Yes.
Oh, excellent people.
Since I haven't put anything forward, the audience, I subject myself to the mercy of the audience.
All right, audience. On my Discord server, in the general channel, find a an appropriate avatar for rolling my boulder.
And if anyone is, unawares, my name comes from Sisyphus, the Greek figure from mythology that tricked Hades and defeated death, and nobody cares.
Just remember, Rolling my boulder, the boomer.
The sophist, the sophist.
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 All right.
Boomer, why you go there?
Well, it was the trouble you had with technology.
You know, that's true. Not much defense I can proffer there.
Oh, we're getting some already. All right.
I like Sophist Sisyphus. That Sophist Sisyphus in the YouTube chat, Man Devil. Sophist Sisyphus.
All right. So far, this is the best one, I think. I'll just
God, I don't even get to preview it, do I?
No, you don't.
Holy moly! Oh,
right there.
Oh.
There. And people actually have Sisyphus things. Come on. How unoriginal.
Yeah, I mean,
actually have Sisyphus stuff. So, yeah.
By the way, when I first joined the Flat Earth community, that was my name. And the Flat Earthers could not resist calling me Sisyphus.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought that was funny.
They're so classy.
Boulder Dash. Wow. Look, I had a Commodore 128, so I'm not going to stoop to that.
Ah. You admit to that, huh?
Yeah. That
Boomer confirmed. Welcome, Judy.
Hey, how you doing?
Oh, I'm good.
And I figured out why I was being a boomer the other time. It's because my AirPods died. So there you go.
All right.
You gotta love technology.
So MC Toon, why are all your friends boomers?
Not all my friends are boomers. You've made an incorrect assumption.
All your friends present at this time.
Yeah, I don't know why. But I do look at the analytics for this channel, and the analytics say boomers are in the plateau of viewership.
We rule.
So are we gonna get an icon for my default thing there or not?
Oh, this one is it so far. This is the winner. It's from Mute Donkey. There it is.
Is that Legos?
Look
wow,
at that.
That's
Love
Legos.
Love it.
All right, I'm gonna send this to you, and you can just pop it in.
I
want to see that thing moving.
I'm supposed to figure out how to change my own avatar.
Yep. Go ahead.
All right. I'll be back in about a couple hours, guys.
I want to see that sucker move.
You're gonna have to buy that one now, Roland.
Have we lost Roland
he's
figuring it out?
Yeah, he can't wear earbuds while doing technology.
That would be difficult.
So, all right, I want to see if
okay, I can still hear.
You're doing great, buddy. You're doing great.
Let's see. I want to see if Gary answered the quantity of Gary Wybenga. Gary, did you answer the magnitude of the force? What's the magnitude of the force? No. So far, no. He did not. I suppose what we could do, Gary, is we could have class. It could be time for class, Gary. Yeah, he doesn't. All he does is just copy paste his same stuff. I don't see any answer.
How does he think that answers anything?
No, well, I mean, his understanding of science is meme deep. So if it's not a meme, if it's any deeper than a meme, he won't understand it.
I can almost picture the memes associated with his answers. He really is just copy pasting, huh?
Yeah. I have a whole page in Coriolis, Gary. Right here. Here's the formula, Gary. Right there. I know there's letters. It's math with letters, Gary. It's gonna be hard for you, huh? So we got 2v omega sine A alpha. Alpha or A, the latitude in which the object is located. The angular velocity, and here this is a hard one for Flurfs. Look at that number. That's the per second angular velocity. Because Gary, when you do your dimensional analysis, now I know those two words together are going to be a hard thing for you, Gary. But dimensional analysis is not actually that difficult. All you do is you plug in the units. That's it. So, all right, we still don't have an updated avatar from Roland.
Look, boomers. I'm not the butt of the boomer joke just because I can't get an avatar.
You know what's even funnier, people? Just so you know, people.
Uh-oh.
He's not even a boomer.
Technically, I'm not either, but I married one. Technically, I'm a Gen X, like right on the cusp.
Oh, here he comes again.
Okay.
He says, yet no specific adjustment can be pointed at as an adjustment for Coriolis while flying. Gary, you need to first show that there must be an adjustment. You need to first establish that. You are coming into it assuming there must be an adjustment without providing the actual backing evidence that there must be an adjustment.
Okay, look.
Oh,
first,
you got it.
Leave Gary alone. And second, kowtow to the boomer that can take.
Roland, you did it.
I did.
You got
boomers out there, boomers everywhere, don't give up. You can do it.
You do sound a little young to actually be a boomer.
All right. So should we do this here?
Yes. Give me your best.
Right here.
Give me your best globe proof.
No. This is for Gary.
Oh, Gary. Okay.
Because Gary has.
Why isn't Gary here in the voice then?
Oh, he's always too scared.
Oh, okay. Fair.
He has been on before, but for some reason I scare him. He's been on with.
He does have two elders in the chat. So,
well, I don't know. I think Gary truly is a boomer.
I'm truly a boomer, dude. I was born in 1941, 36, or I don't know.
Then you're.
When were boomers born?
I think the end of it is like 60, 65, 68.
Yeah, that was me. 65, exactly.
Yeah, you sound just like my husband. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay.
So 2 times velocity times omega times sine alpha. So Gary, this right here, this is the formula for Coriolis. Let me get my calculationator out. I have named my calculator the Flurf Crusher. There it is. So 2. So we just throw a 2 in the stack.
Why don't you throw a pi in the stack while you're at it?
But there's no pi in the formula. And then V for velocity. Now, 500 miles per hour is not SI units. So Gary, this is going to be a little hard for you.
Wait. Is 500 miles per hour a rotational velocity?
No.
Weird.
500 miles per hour.
But wait, 1,000 miles per hour is a rotational velocity.
No.
No?
No.
But I've been told if you're at the equator, you're going 1,000 miles per hour.
Yeah. Yep, I know. All right. 224 meters per second is what I get. So you multiply that by 2, giving you 447 meters per second. Now you multiply that times omega, which is 0.000727. One. I put a space in there. Uh-oh. I didn't point here. 0.07271. There you go. That's not a very big number, Gary. Ooh. Then multiply by sine of alpha. I said at 45 degrees north. 45 sine is 0.7. So we multiply that. So Gary, the number is 0.02 2983995674 meters per second squared. 0.02 meters per second squared is the Coriolis force, the acceleration due to Coriolis force at 45 degrees north latitude. Gary, do you think that is a large number that needs to be corrected for? It is not. Wind is much more powerful than that.
People in the YouTube are saying that Gary's not here.
Well, Gary never was here. Seriously.
Okay, I'm here. I'll take up the flat Earth mantle.
Oh, you're going to? Okay.
Yes.
All right, good. Go flurf it.
I am flurfing it right now.
Okay. Begin.
No, that's not. Oh, okay, look. Here. I've got a knock joke for you, but
Okay.
you start.
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Interrupting
Moo. I'm the flurf. I don't bring things. You don't understand how this works after all this time? You go, and then I'll reply.
Have you all right, Flurfy Roland. Have you ever noticed that
Did you do this for yourself?
yes, have you ever noticed that
Okay, give me the video evidence.
That when geese fly, they
Wait,
fly in a V.
whoa. You were a geese flying in a V.
Yeah. No, have you ever noticed that when geese fly, they fly in a V?
Did you do this for yourself?
Yes, I watched them.
Okay.
Have you ever noticed that they fly in a V?
So you did this for yourself. Give me the video. You have a video for me of you doing this?
I mean, there must be video evidence, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You did this. You did this.
I published it in a book along with Samuel Rowbotham's book.
A book, huh? A book. And the publisher was in on it? Okay.
Yeah, William Carpenter was the publisher.
Look, did the geese have lasers?
Yes, and in fact they were laser guided torpedoes.
And you have a YouTube video showing the lasers. What wavelength?
No, they would never ask what wavelength.
That's true.
They don't know that.
I'm so bad at
character
this.
there.
Roland, buddy.
I was doing so good. I was
on a roll.
I was.
He was rolling.
Wavelength. Fucking moron.
I finished this a little too fast, by the way.
Otherwise, he would have never accepted me into the voice chat.
Oh. Yep.
Definitely need more Toonsday.
It's like Spider-Man hosting Green Lantern for a discussion.
Why are you talking about Green Lantern? If you're going to talk about any superhero, you cannot talk about Green Lantern.
Oh, really?
That took a left turn.
So have you ever noticed that they fly in a V?
Yes, McToon. They fly in a V.
And have you ever noticed that there's more in that one side of the V is longer than the other?
No, McToon. No one has ever seen that.
No? Oh, Gary
No.
just made a dumb comment.
Oh, Gary's back? Okay, I defer.
Gary says, I wonder if the geese know the formula for Coriolis so they can adjust their flight accordingly. Gary!
Oh, because look, whoa, Mr. McToon.
Yes.
If a geese were to take off from the equator and fly north and try to land at the North Pole to lay eggs.
Yeah, that's what geese do.
That's what geese do.
Yeah.
You see how the Earth is flat.
No. But if it is the moonlight cold at the North Pole?
You're not understanding how you didn't use lasers.
And the George says spamming Titicaca until Toon laughs at tip number 9.
I was wondering how long that was gonna take. I was seeing your attempt.
It's kind of fun to sometimes ignore him and just to make him go over and over and over again. Oh, I love you, George.
But see how nobody in this little voice chat could resist lasers on the geese. It was lasers did them in.
We need the yes.
Lasers. I don't know. Somehow laser light is very special. It goes where you want it to go.
No, Gary, they can't just hover. Yeah, no.
He doesn't understand conservation of momentum. Gary, that's taught in 4th grade.
We just have to pay slight homage to I Can Science That, asking if they're ill-tempered geese, which is a wonderful reference to Austin Powers and the ill-tempered sea bass.
But when are geese not ill-tempered? No, I shouldn't say it. See, now in my mind, I made an assumption. I assumed they were Canadian geese, and they are always ill-tempered.
Yeah,
geese are not ill-tempered. If you are a flurf, you walk past their nest and say flat Earth, and they do not hiss at you.
There's a special password.
What about black geese? Are there black geese?
Why is race a thing here?
No, it's not. It's it's from their brethren, the black swans.
Oh, black.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. I said the wrong thing. Oops.
Canada geese, not Canadian, but they speak Canadian.
They do. They do. Absolutely.
They'll poop on your head and then say sorry.
Sorry about that.
So I went to. Oh, I was gonna get to. What was I gonna get to? I was gonna get to something about my wife's relatives.
You were talking about the guy that had no shirt and no shoes on the side of the road.
Yeah, and he got service still. Yeah.
Well, okay, that's terrible.
Really nice guy. He stopped. He's like, "Can I help?" Like, no. And then he came back. He's like, "I saw you wave down some people, and they didn't stop." Because he was going the other direction. He came back. And then he went to his house and came back. is a 15-minute drive one direction. So half an hour later, he comes back. And while he's gone, my wife and I are like, well, do we what do we do? Well, if he comes back, we need to get to a cell signal. So like if he offers, then I'll go ride with him. But I am on my guard the whole time just because I don't know the guy, but he was super nice.
Could be a flat earther for all you know.
I could have been. Yeah,
I
this is
see
a
you.
proper
I see
horror
you.
movie if the guy can get cell phone reception. Nobody got cell phone reception. There was none. It was the worst place for a tire to blow. But at least nobody was going to care that the car was parked there.
So how are you going to repay him?
I offered him money and he refused.
Oh, good on him.
Go
Can
ahead.
you write him a thank you note?
I don't have his address or
Can
his
you
name.
put him on your YouTube channel?
I completely forgot his name. Actually, he introduced himself. I introduced myself. We shook hands, and
then
I
he said,
promptly forgot his name.
Well, that's just
"This whole time I've been thinking it was Brian Leak."
No,
that's just rude.
yeah.
Why is that
Welcome,
rude?
welcome
Speaking-
after Zoom.
Speaking
Honey.
of rude, someone likes to rub in that someone is the favorite of
I'm not a
bunch.
favorite of anything.
You got the invite to the moon base.
No, I didn't get an invite. I just crashed there.
You got an invite to the
Alright.
secret NASA moon base?
No, I just
This
crashed.
is what we were discussing this
Oh.
earlier.
I crashed. the benefits of having a spaceship.
That's pretty good. I get to go to the annual breakdancing competition in April. But I'm always up in the mezzanine. I never get to be up close.
But well,
Just-
look around. Look. See?
What? You were stammering about something.
See, look. You can't see where I am. You can't see where I am.
Oh, okay. I wasn't looking. What's Gary yapping about? So when people respond to Gary, and then I don't know what they're responding to. Like he's too far back. All right. Well, Waikuka Moo Cow 855 says, "Can you get two flirfs on to debate between themselves why things fall downwardy?" I'd love to get two flirfs to argue about stuff. Somebody sent me a link to Nathan Oakley's stream where apparently Austin was on and they were arguing about Aether. So I haven't watched that yet. I'll have to catch up on that. That sounds excellent. Gary, why don't you come on and explain your derpity to us, Gary?
Yeah, your pushytrons, polytrons, whatever.
He's actually given me a side of ranch for his word salad at times. I would love to see him and actually hear from his own mouth.
Well, he's been on Mr. Sensible's a couple times.
Yeah,
but he seems afraid of Toon here.
I'm too nice for him, I think.
You're Toon nice. Sorry. That's fun.
Toon, yes, Toon, nice little, yeah. So there's a video by Sabine Hassenpfeffer. It's not Hassenpfeffer. Is her name Hassenfelder on 5G, and she got some stuff a little bit wrong. So I'm preparing a response video to her. She's not a whack, like a wacko. She just got a few things wrong. She's really, really good. I like her channel and I watch her stuff. But she kind of let some stuff slip through. So if you haven't seen her most recent video, I think I can. Oh, I closed the window already. I'll grab it. You can.
While you're grabbing that, I see
Yes.
a hashtag that has been resurrected by our darling Mallory. Hashtag chew the goo.
No.
No, she did. She resurrected the hashtag. She did. Yeah.
So what? All right. Daryl Frost says, what did she get wrong? So she cited a study. I don't want to spoil everything. Don't give too much away, but she cited a study by some people that did an analysis of the high frequency 5G allocated range, right? So the different ranges are allocated by the FCC, and they did an analysis of it. They did an absolutely horrible juvenile attempt at analysis, and she cited it without doing any critical analysis of it. I don't think she read the study. Actually, she could not have read the study. So I Can Science That says, I look forward to your video. She took an odd take on 5G safety. So the safety part, actually, I don't have a big issue with. So her video is two parts. First was talking about safety with humans, and the second part was with weather forecasting, not weather control, flurfers, weather forecasting. And the safety part, she's basically said there have not been a lot of safety studies. And she's right. There haven't. The safety studies that have been done have not shown there to be any issues. But there just aren't many of them. So go do more. Awesome. I don't know. I can't disagree with that. She didn't make any claims about safety. Really, she just said there should be more. So anyway, it's the second part. There's mainly two claims about weather forecasting. One is a study that was just absolutely juvenile in its analysis, and she could not have read it. There's no way she read the study. And then the second was a quote, a short quote from somebody in a government person at a somebody from NOAA, NOAA, at a congressional hearing, I think, and making a claim that is absolutely ridiculous. And she gave a pass to that as well. So there you go. Those are those are really the two things I took issue with. So if you go to that video, I commented. If you want to, it's hard to find because she gets a lot of comments. Find my my comment on there and give it a thumbs up. Maybe it'll sort it to the top. I might be able to actually find my own comment. Can I? There's no, I can't easily find it. Let me look. I'm looking. I might be up there. It is. I might be able to get it because if I click on the link, there it is. I think this will. Yep. Okay. This link might get you right to my comment. So there you go. Somebody faking her account responded to me. I reported the account. So anyway, text me on Telegram. Sabine Hassenfelder 1 is the name of the YouTube channel. That's the fake channel. And if you want to report a channel, go do that as well. Somebody just trying to screw people over. So, all right. There you go. Enjoy that. All right. I have DIMOC on Thursday at 10 p.m. Central Time.
Really? Again?
Oh, great.
Again. Well, he's been demanding a debate, right? I'm like, we need to schedule it. He's like, okay, how about this day? Like, oh, jeez. Fine.
How drunk is he going to be?
No, belligerent is he fine.
I don't know if it makes a difference if he's drunk or not. He's it's all nonsense. So
Yeah, he's belligerent either way.
yeah. Well, anyway, I enjoyed Roland's response to it was when I turned him down. I turned down his volume, so he's in the background. He's just yammering. He just won't stop. And I'm just talking with the audience, and he's just going. He doesn't stop. And then I bring him back up, and I talk to him, and I'm like, hey, I have a question for you. And it was like he didn't even notice that I wasn't having a conversation with him.
Is that a novel experience with some of these guys, or is
There's
that...
there's only one other Flurf that's done that. And that's John Puckett. Who,
No, I'm saying it was a little bit weird because I was listening to this interaction delayed, and I skipped a bit because MC Toon started like blah blah blahing, and then and then later he brought DMOC back in, and DMOC was unaware that for like a solid 10 minutes, it wasn't like 10 seconds or something, it was like 10 minutes that DMOC had been monologuing, oblivious to that no one was listening. It was wild. It was wild to see that.
He was a cartoon supervillain. He turned into a cartoon supervillain, and he was monologuing.
yeah.
And he turned into a Bond villain. He pretty much turned into a Bond villain. Just sat there
No,
and monologue.
they have so much more class.
But
Yeah,
the,
good
but
point,
the
yeah.
things that you guys are talking about are like scripted Hollywood events. This was like a real person.
This really happened.
Yeah, DMOC wasn't pretending. He
He really is that stupid. Yeah.
yeah. It wasn't Hollywood. It wasn't the scripted villain monologuing. It was DMOC just completely oblivious to the fact of whether anyone was listening.
I think DMOC likes to hear the sound of his own voice to the extent that it doesn't matter if anyone's listening. As long as he's listening, he's cool with it.
By the way, I've put the call out to the servers that I'm in for
the Discord servers.
Yeah, I said, hey, I'm here right now with you. Come fight me, trusting that you would fairly moderate it.
Oh, and they're flowing in.
Exactly.
No, they're not.
No, they said I need to Google for my research, and I said, is Google acceptable evidence now? And they said no. They said I should do my own research and not not capitulate to you. Why is the moonshot taking so long? Anyway, why is the moonshot taking so long anyway? It was NASA, way faster in the 70s. Rolling my boulder.
No, it wasn't.
I'm quoting that. I read that for you. So, like, they declined to come, but they still message. And then also, I got one. Your issue is Google. Use a different platform. You can watch diluted peeps anywhere. Just I don't even know what that means. I don't know what that means.
You only use DuckDuckGo for searches.
DuckDuckGo, but doesn't DuckDuckGo mostly just
It's the same answers as Google.
Doesn't DuckDuckGo just like pass it on to Google and then give you back the answers, but filtered so Google didn't know who you were?
No, that is absolutely what Bing did for a while.
It is what Bing did for sure.
Yeah.
By the way, Internet Explorer had comments in their code, like, / a comment that said Netscape engineers are weenies. So
I've put lots of things in my code. I put haiku in my code all the time.
I like that in a court of U.S. law, lawyers had to talk about the fact that a programmer put a comment that said Netscape engineers are weenies.
That is now
audience. Google search. I stand by what I say.
No, Bing search.
Bing search. DuckDuckGo. DuckDuckGo it. In your incognito browser of choice.
All right, we've got Cretan Bull for 5 Canadian dollars. Says, I can't tell how stupid D-Muck is because I can't listen to him to find out. Very true.
Cretan Bull is not, diluting their own brain cells by trying to listen to whatever that is. So maybe there's some wisdom to that.
It's like fine wine, It's an acquired taste, right? Is that how fine wine works?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't drink wine, and if I do drink wine, I would never drink wine out of a box. Am I right, Roland?
I plead the fifth.
I was going to say, feel free to plead.
Wine out of the box isn't any different than wine from CSO.
I was previously unfamiliar with the fact that wine came in a box.
Box wine is perfectly acceptable.
Environmentally nice.
Isn't the point of box wine is that I thought it was so that you could have some, and then days later you could have more, and no oxygen got in there, right?
I wouldn't know because this is the first I've ever heard of wine being packaged in a box.
Actually, Roland, I thought you wouldn't know because you've never left a box of wine unfinished.
I subject myself to your boomer ridicule willingly.
I think Adam realized everything I actually did a video on how box wine isn't any different from regular.
But I would like to know what, pray tell, is in this can from which you sip presently.
It's water, of course.
It's water.
Course it's water. Of course it's water.
Don't tell the Flurfs.
Of course
they don't know.
Water.
They don't watch my streams.
Yeah, it's not wine from a box, certainly.
I thought it was Tab. I thought you were drinking Tab.
No, he fills his Tab cans with box wine, which is why the box wine jokes.
Or Toonshine. You can always put with Toonshine.
What do you think Toonshine is except box wine?
Toonshine is actually Zevia usually.
Zevia? Oh, nice.
Zevia, yeah. Or Zevia. All right, PhD Tony for 5 Australians. You guys know what a divergent is?
I want the PhD
medical
Tony
series that diverges.
I want PhD Tony to teach us what divergent series are.
PC Tony? PC Tony? You mean PhD Tony?
Yeah. All right. PhD Tony.
It sounded like he said. It sounded like he said PC Tony for a minute. Like PC Tony, is that a new one?
All right. Now, he may or may not have something else going on, but I'm sending him the link regardless. And since email is I can just send it. He can't choose to not receive it. It has been received by his email server. against his wishes. Because
You're
that's
such a
how
bully.
RFC 5321 works.
You are such a bully. I
Well,
I can't even.
it can always go to a spam filter, which you can have it automatically sorted so it deletes it. So that's a possibility.
Yeah. But let's see. Yeah, it's at gmail.com.
Oh, they have terrible spam filters. Never mind.
They do. They do.
So wait a minute. The bag in a box of wine is called a goon. I had not gotten that little bit of trivia before.
That sounds a little suspicious. But I need to read this.
Yeah,
We've got right here. We've got PhD Tony, and the Sun Express says all was calm aboard my robot slave galleon, sailing the tranquil waters of El Lago Magico Titicaca.
The Lago Mágico Titicaca.
Yes, sounds very pleasant indeed. Can you guys hear me?
We can.
Hey, PC Tony.
Hi, how are you guys?
Excellent. And a divergent series is something we want to learn about.
Okay, so if you've got an infinite series of numbers that you add together, the sum of those numbers diverges if it fails to stay under any bound.
Here, PhD Tony. You can see me now. I'm up right now.
Yes, yeah, you can.
So how could an infinite series not go over a bound?
Well, so for instance, if you've got 1 plus a half plus a quarter, etc., that'll approach the value of 2, but it will never get to 2. So there are plenty of series that are strictly limited and convergent, and indeed you can have infinite series that are bounded but don't converge.
Did the Greek philosopher Zenos beg to differ?
The Greek philosopher Zenos did beg to differ, but he was wrong. So, well, I was reading up on Zeno's paradox recently, and apparently there's more to it than that. Apparently there's some difficulty with deciding to take that extra step, but I couldn't make head nor tail of it. The fact is that you can have an infinite sequence of events in a finite amount of time.
So how is it that Achilles is able to catch the tortoise?
Well, because that entire thing only takes 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, Achilles has caught the tortoise, or the arrow has hit its target, or whatever. Yes, and you guys are talking about wine in boxes. I had a Japanese colleague who thought that this was mankind's greatest invention.
By you guys,
you
mean MC Toon, not
No, we mean Australians. Australians invented wine in a box.
And in Australia, it's called goon. There's like a brand name called a goon, which is...
I wouldn't be able to testify to that. When I was young, it was sold in boxes, by Lindemans and other mainline companies. So, and no, Mallory, I am not exposing any secrets about Mr. E-Man. His secrets are his own.
Okay, Mr. PhD Tony.
Yes.
To the people who are contrary and want to say the Earth is flat, and they want to clench their hands into fists and close their eyes and say it's flat, and then they say math is not reality.
That's entirely true, but observation is reality, and so we have a number of observations that we can use that prove the Earth is not flat. And you need delicate instruments or you need unusual instruments in order to make those observations. If you just use instruments that were available to somebody 10,000 years ago, you're going to come to the same conclusions that they came to 10,000 years ago. We use more accurate measurement techniques and calculation techniques. We get better results. We can tell that the Earth is spheroidal.
But are you throwing all of the inference that math offers under the bus when you say that?
No, it's
when you say
entirely
math
true.
isn't reality.
Well, it's entirely true that math isn't reality. You can describe there are various let's start with sort of fundamental logic. Gödel's incompleteness theorem states that there are things that may be true, but that you can't prove. So no matter how robust, unless you've got some sort of tautologous system of axioms, in which case you can prove every statement. But if you've got a finite sort of minimal set of axioms, you can't prove every statement.
If we grabbed a PhD physicist off the street and said, explain Gödel's incompleteness theorem, what would the physicist say?
Well, if it's a physicist who's got any training in philosophy, he would say that Gödel's incompleteness theorem states is that if you've got a logical language,
would he even know? Would he even know what Gödel's incompleteness theorem was?
It's possible. It's entirely possible that he wouldn't. The thing is that you can use mathematics to describe reality, but just because you've written down a mathematical expression doesn't mean that it maps onto some aspect of physics, right? That's not how. So mathematics is not a one-to-one mapping of reality, of physical reality. You can well describe most physical systems with mathematics, but mathematics extends beyond that because you can use it to describe non-physical systems.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm picking up what you're putting down. So let me try to turn it around. Can a physicist make predictions without math?
Not very numerically meaningful ones. No. In order to, obviously, predictions need to be tested, and in order to test them accurately, you need some understanding of what level of variation might be expected from the various sources of error that you've got. So they would need to do mathematics in order to make useful predictions.
Is it fair to say math offers a sufficiently rigid framework for your statements that they can be tested?
I'm not sure that I would. I think that there's an element of truth in that statement, but I would try and make it more simply. Mathematics provides us the basis for quantifying the results we expect and the variation of those results.
So if I'm a flat earther listening to this and boiling in my britches and wanting to say I can do it without math, like I can, I got my P1000 and the horizon's not physical and density and buoyancy don't need math to do any of that. As a flat earther, how do I talk to you?
Well, the thing that flat earthers tend to get wrong is that they will look at an observation and they will say, this observation contradicts the Earth being spheroidal. And they will, and then you will ask the question, well, did you do a check on what you expect your results to be, given the projected size of the Earth? And more often than not, they haven't done any sort of check. So, for instance, when I was first coming into this, Level Earth Observer was claiming that if gravity was true, then as he was pulling a crane load of steel girders on top of a building, gravity would pull his entire crane over. And I asked him if he'd run the calculations on that, and he said he didn't need to. calculations weren't, So he's got an observation, and he's right. His crane doesn't fall over, but if he did the analysis properly, he would understand that gravity doesn't suggest that his crane should fall over under those circumstances. And so it's a refusal from the flat earthers to properly envision what reality should look like if the spheroidal Earth is true.
That's a compelling example because, like, as a crane operator, like of that caliber, you don't just like say, I want to move the thing from here to there and just pull your joystick this way until you get it there. It would oscillate wildly. Like, crane operators have a lot of finesse and understand kinematics really well.
Yeah.
So
they understand that. They understand sort of some basic kinetics and harmonics. But clearly his understanding of how gravity works is somewhat lacking. So it's but one of the key things that I think I've learned is that flat earthers refuse to sort of absorb new information, and they refuse to listen to the idea that they don't properly represent the spheroidal model.
Yeah, because how often have they brought up the black swan, even though we've debunked that several times?
Yeah, that's a classic example, and I mean it's a failure of basic logic, really.
Yeah, because a black swan doesn't disprove that a white swan still exists.
1 second before I let PhD Tony off the hook, and then I'll shush. PhD Tony, what is something that you have had trouble accepting as a truth?
What is something that I've had? Well, the various explanations for déjà vu, for instance. So you can have an experience that you've lived this moment before, that you know the words that were said, that you've had some previous experience. Perhaps it's a dream, perhaps some other form of experience. And what neurologists will tell us is that's just the brain malfunctioning. That's the brain, accessing a memory that is there before you knew it was a memory, and that's the neurological explanation. But it doesn't entirely, if my brain is malfunctioning, then that's kind of a scary thought. Perhaps I just prefer not to get that explanation. But it is something I have difficulty reconciling with my own experiences, because it's just it just seems like it. But obviously, if my brain is malfunctioning, that's how it's going to seem to me. It's going to seem to me like that explanation doesn't make sense. So anyway.
My mum bakes cakes for $5 Australian, says my $5 to hear Tony swear. I think well, there it is. I was gonna suggest fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks, okay. Sorry, Tim. I realized I forgot myself. This is your channel, and you don't do that.
My grandpa always said fiddlesticks. He's the only person I ever heard say that.
All right.
I don't know. Has anybody else's grandparent, or if you are Roland self, heard somebody say fiddlesticks?
Yeah, my grandparents used to.
Okay.
My grandparents used to say fiddlesticks all the time.
There we go. We've got one.
I consider crimey to be a swear word.
Crimey?
Yeah,
Crimea River?
No, it's so that there's a
crikey.
In Australia there's this crikey.
Crikey, yes, crikey, same thing.
These are basically somebody was in the middle of saying Christ and then turned it into something else.
Yeah, exactly, precisely.
So there are a lot of variations, and there are a couple of ones where people can catch themselves in the way of, gosh. which I
Golly,
think,
golly.
golly,
Oh, Golly
they're-
G. Oh, Golly G.
yeah.
Total-
Gosh
total-
darn it.
Total
Yeah.
Smithers style
Yes,
from Simpsons.
exactly.
Bollocks.
Golly,
Bollocks.
golly gee.
Golly G.
Golly, yeah.
By Jove. That's a good one.
By Jove. Nice.
By Jove.
So
Me.
By the
Right.
way, in many circles, the word flurf is considered a swear word.
Oh,
Just
really?
a point of trivia. Point of
you mean
trivia.
in flurf circles?
In flirp circles, maybe. Yeah.
So Tony, while you're on here, and
Mhm.
anybody else, I'm doing this cold moonlight experiment. Is it worth attempting to submit it to an actual journal? Write it up properly and send it to a journal.
It may well be. I mean, there are some science education journals that do take an interest in debunking these sort of idiotic talking points. They'll do anti young Earth creationists and anti flat Earth articles. So and they do them for the benefit of teachers and occasionally students, I think. But it might be worth submitting this to one of those.
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
Do you want to submit it before anyone has tried? Is that what you're talking about? Do you want to submit the challenge itself, or do you want to submit the results of
The
challenge?
results, yeah.
So like after a flat earther attempted.
No. I don't expect that any flat earthers will attempt it.
I see.
So mean, I'm talking about my own.
You want to write up the challenge and then the sort of the fact that no one.
No,
attempted.
not the challenge. My actual experiment.
So this is a claim.
I see. You're saying
There's
you want to do your own challenge, so to speak.
Experiment.
Experiment.
Get the
yeah.
challenge. Set the
Okay.
challenge to the side.
So there are a number of people who are making this claim about cold moonlight and this, that, and the other, and very loudly and quite repetitively. And there are debunks of it on YouTube, but I think having a write up submitted to an educational magazine or something like that, or a journal, would help.
Go ahead, sorry.
I've been, there have been a couple of times where I've looked at young Earth creation. I've looked up young Earth creationist debunks, and they have exactly what I want in sort of educational journals for teachers. So that seems to be sort of the arena where a lot of this anti science ends up getting published.
All right. Well, I'll have to brush up on my LaTeX.
The thing, well, I can help you if you need.
Latex.
But the thing that's especially weird about cold moonlight, to me, is how flat earthers say second law of thermodynamics, and like it doesn't make any sense.
It violates the first law. They don't know the laws of thermodynamics.
But it's so,
They don't even know what to call it. They call it the wrong name. They call it thermal.
It's so
Thermodynamics. Yeah,
it's
thermodynamics.
it's so weird to hear people say such. There's no. It's so weird to like listen to these people talk about this alternate reality where there's a separate set of physics. I mean, I watch movies, right? Like, Inception or whatever, and I suspend disbelief and I accept an alternate set of physics and I enjoy the movie.
Yeah.
Flat Earth can't even do that. They can't even make.
They can't separate movie
consistent-
from reality. They can't
Even
separate movie from reality.
even then, they can't even construct a set of rules
Yeah.
that apply.
Yeah.
It like it would be the most unsatisfying movie ever because none of it makes any sense. It doesn't even follow its own rules.
Every scene has different physics.
Yes, exactly. And who wants that? That's not even fun to watch.
I
It's
was
not
thinking,
like even going into it knowing it's fiction, it's just unsatisfying and unenjoyable.
Yeah.
I was thinking today about like Oakley has his like canned answers to things. So he'll say things like, well, he thinks that gravity doesn't work because helium balloons float. And
Yeah.
you say, well, but in a vacuum chamber, a helium balloon will go down. And his answer to that is, well, that's not naturally occurring. But hold on a
Yeah.
second.
Wait.
What helium balloon is naturally occurring? You brought
Yes.
up the helium balloon, which you don't need to be naturally occurring, but I can't use the vacuum chamber because it's not naturally occurring. Which ones? You can't even be consistent in one example.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm trying to say. Is the physics of flat Earth is just is like watching a movie where the protagonists can just do whatever they want at any scene in any moment. If there's no rules, it doesn't matter. There's no
Yeah.
physics.
Yeah. It's the thing is that they don't feel they basically don't understand how science works on a fundamental level.
And they're not logically consistent either.
Yeah,
Not
they don't.
logically
Well, they don't
consistent at all.
understand how logic works either. But they feel free to I need to back up. What I think is that they themselves lack an attention span. So if you're halfway through and explaining something and they go, but this, but
It's
that
done.
isn't real, then it's done, and they've broken the chain of thought, and you can't get them over. They're like a horse that has refused to go over a jump. And then if you go back to the original example and say, well, what if we apply that to there? That doesn't work. They've broken the chain of logic. That chain of logic can't extend.
They
back to
gave
what
me
they
a word for that
saying.
tonight, by the way.
Third preset. Third preset.
No,
Yeah.
that what he just said, that metaphor of a horse refusing to go over the jump, and then you might bring the horse back around and encourage it to go over the jump again. They gave me a word for that. Sea lioning. I'd never heard that before.
Yeah, sea lioning.
Oh,
But if you do that, if you get engaged in a discussion and it goes off the tracks and you sort of bring it back around to the beginning and try to restart, you're sea lioning.
Actually, that's not sea lioning at all.
Yeah.
Well, but that's what they told me.
That's the opposite of sea lining.
Sea lining has a specific definition. It's just asking.
Well, but so does straw man and red herring and sophistry. All these things have.
But I did want to just address that comment that was there because it's a good one. MC, the comment that they also say, we can't turn off gravity, therefore we can't test it. Well, the same's true of electrodynamics. The same's true of a lot, the weak nuclear force and the strong nuclear force. We can't turn those off. But they will accept that these things exist and can be analyzed sometimes.
Tony, add to your repertoire. You can't turn off density buoyancy either.
You can't turn off density buoyancy either. Yes, that's a good.
That's their domain, and you can't turn that off either.
They have all these density. They're definitely skilled at density.
These weird angles that like chipping away at how to actually do science and like removing these parts of science, saying you can't do them for no real reason. They say you can't turn it off, therefore it can't be tested. That's wrong, completely wrong.
Yeah.
But because it violates their required conclusion, they have to remove it somehow, and that's one of their attempts to remove it.
Exactly. And so this gets back to their fundamental refusal to accept science or the way science is done. And they'll argue black and blue with a straight face to any professional scientist telling them that they're not doing science right. They're delusional. Nothing. There's no polite word for it. They're just straight up delusional.
That's a good word for it. Yeah.
And it's
Sorry, I have a small non sequitur which was posed to me. I invited people to come debate me, and no one accepted, obviously, but a few people have answered via texts. And one was, what do you get when you vector multiply space with time? Ask MC Toon if he knows. Roland
What?
Boulder.
What?
so what they would be tempting to get at there, I think, is a claim that time and space are orthogonal. But I don't think that that's true. Hang on. If you do take the if you do just take a dot product of a time only quantity and a space only quantity,
but it was troubling to me because space can be a three dimensional quantity, but time seems like 1D. So vector multiplying space with time seems like a nonsensical thing. But I was instructed to ask MC Toon specifically if he knows. So I think it's a trick question that if you vector multiply space with time, then you get nothing because space is a vector times a scalar.
Well,
it's not a vector multiplication. It's not a dot product.
There are multiple ways to parse the question, and that's one of the things that they don't tend to realize, is that they'll ask a question like that unaware that it's not entirely meaningful. As Mute Donkey is saying in the chat, there are multiple forms of vector multiplication. Are they referring to a dot product or a cross product?
They're not referring to any of those things. They don't know what they're talking about.
And there's also scalar multiplication. There's also scalar multiplication of vectors and various other. There are various other multiplication functions that you can do. It's not at all clear to me.
Especially like what Gary White Benga does, and he'll find different big words to use and just slam them all together, thinking he said something brilliant.
Gary White Benga is an interesting case. He is exactly as you say. He kind of throws enough words together that he figures, because he no longer knows what he's saying. There are tensor products, as Clive Wells points out. There are, he strings together this sequence of verbiage, and then he thinks, well, nobody was able to follow that, so I win. No, Whitsitt was also extremely good at this. Whitsitt could string together words weeks on end. And I had somebody in the comment section telling me how brilliant he was. He can do this. He can, without hesitation, without any pause, without any ums or ahs, he can just string together a nonsense sentence after nonsense sentence, and he just has enough filler language that there are no gaps in it. But it's meaningless. None of it makes any sense. And the fact that you can talk like that for ages and ages does not make you smart.
I think Whitsitt learned from the Kent Hovind school of Gitch galloping.
Yeah, Kent Hovind has more rhetorical tricks than.
Kent is way better than Whitsitt.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still not very smart, and he lies a lot.
No, absolutely. I mean, Kent Hovind is a despicable. Is a despicable fraud and liar who has had multiple negative encounters with the law and believes himself to be above the law and above paying taxes as the rest of humanity does. He lies for a living. He's also a despicable homophobe and actively supports Matt Powell's calls for the execution of gays. Absolutely reprehensible individuals, and a sad reflection on modern society that they can make money doing it.
Yeah, and Matt Powell can make plenty of YouTube videos, and none of them get taken down.
Yeah.
of him calling out to kill gay people and trans people.
Yeah.
Like-
I see. I don't see how YouTube come to the conclusion that that is in any way acceptable.
No,
I
no.
to be brutally honest, I have had Daily Wire advertisements
Oh God.
come across my feed, and I have to say I don't understand how transphobic content of that nature makes it past YouTube's algorithms. I would, yeah. Anyway,
Especially adverts like that. Just,
Advertisements, really.
yeah, Daily Wire are advertising. They're
Yeah.
trying to get viewers. I think I'm way out of the demographic. I was talking about Mr. Harden. Are you okay, Judy?
oh, Judy, you're muted. Nobody can hear you.
Still muted. Still.
Muted. Nope. Can't hear you.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
She's taking some tech advice from the boomer.
No. Be nice. Also, just mind your Discord DMs.
Oh.
I've been
14.
I've been
14.
I've been casting the net far and wide, inviting people to join our discussion.
Wow. Anybody here want to come challenge me on MC2's live stream? I'm there right now. So far, everyone's too scared. And here, somebody says, I'm also scared.
Oh God.
My favorite was I just scrolled up. I thought you meant here. No, not in front of people.
Not in front of people. Oh, some of these are good. All right, I'm gonna have to. I love when they play the shield card.
Which one is the shield card?
Oh,
I've spammed you so many things.
This one here, we've got bruh, that Funday Shield BS strawman salesman.
How can you? Okay. I've got a serious question. How can you strawman something when they don't have a model to begin with to strawman?
Yeah, how can you strawman their non-existent model?
They don't have a model, so how the hell can you strawman it?
By saying they have a model.
Okay. Mr. McToon, I don't really think that you should post that, but just check your Discord one more time.
What? All the more reason.
I just read it.
It's for a bit of a negative. It's another negative.
No, from Shines.
The last one, the one I just.
I
had.
I like Shines. I
do too. I mean, Shines is pretty cool, but.
All right,
come on.
Do that. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
But there you go.
If you hadn't said Shines.
Is this Cyrus?
Cyrus, yeah.
Who is this? Cyrus?
Cyrus is a mechanical engineer.
An actual mechanical engineer, or a studying to be a mechanical engineer?
He's an internet person.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Here's the backstory.
Okay. It's quick.
Cyrus told me that he was a mechanical engineer, and I was like, wow, well, I can connect with that. We can talk about stuff. And then he revealed to me that he hadn't quite completed his degree, and that the reasons were financial. And I said, you, Cyrus, are quite smart. I believe that we could organize a GoFundMe. MC Toon, whatever. You're a smart guy. And he said, well, that, not so fast. And he didn't really want help financially to complete his ME degree. That's all I got. I don't know why. I don't know what the problem was, but And then I get messages like this from
Yeah,
him, which
so
I wonder about.
somebody that has claimed to be a mechanical engineer, and so in engineering, you would certainly deal with the square root of -1 on a regular basis.
Yeah, totally.
I stand by my answer.
There are multiple notations for it, right?
And PhD Tony, you're here. How do you regard my reply?
Yeah, that's perfectly accurate.
Yeah.
The variable, the name you give that variable is immaterial. It's a place marker. Normal notation is either I or J,
Yep,
but
I.
it's
Irrational number. It's an irrational number.
well, no, irrational means something else. The square root
Irrational. IR rational.
Yeah, the
Irrational.
square root of 2 is an irrational number.
Yeah, actually, the square root of -1
Or is that
is
imaginary?
not irrational.
Yeah, it's an imaginary number.
Imaginary number. Imaginary,
Well, see, I
that's
didn't
what-
want to say that. I was avoiding that word.
Or complex. You
I
can
was
say
avoiding
it's
that
complex.
word too.
Okay.
I didn't want to name it. I
Okay.
didn't wanna fall for the trick.
Square root of -1 equals J. Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would expect from somebody with an electronics background.
And you can tell the difference between electronics and physics because
Physics uses I.
and
Which is
electronics
current.
uses J.
Yeah.
Mute Donkey thinks it's a semicolon. That would be a gigantic comma.
Yeah.
It's a semicolon.
Interestingly, I was just reading about the development of trigonometry after 1500, and we just got to Leonhard Euler and the improvements he made to the analysis. And Euler's formula right there. I'm surprised you didn't write Euler's formula. It's one of the more famous ones. All
Euler,
5 mathematical
if you're
symbols.
pronouncing it wrong.
Wait, one of the more famous ones? Are you talking about the formula?
Yeah, the formula. And hello, Nicholas Chaudet.
So this would be like e to the
E to the
something
I.
equals minus something equals something, and has all the 5 mathematical constants that we care about.
Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I write software.
But it is a truly beautiful formula because it has 5 very critical mathematical constants in it.
It points out the relationship between trigonometric functions and logarithmic functions, which is once you see it, it's kind of striking that these two things that you get at in very different ways are actually internet.
It's more than that though, because it has addition, multiplication, exponentiation. I mean,
yeah, it has it has 5 fundamental symbols in the one character.
And to think, Oakley and Quantum Eraser think that the only time you can ever use trigonometric functions is when triangles are involved.
Yes, that's the this is interestingly enough, obviously starting from 1500. The guy, I'll get the book for you.
Whoa! Oh, be careful!
Something
happened.
I dropped my counter. Can you see the book?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see if I can.
So it's actually the second volume of this guy's history of trigonometry, and it's interesting. I'd like not to do that again. I'll just pick everything up from where it fell. It's interesting just how early spherical trigonometry was developed. They already had access to the basic formula in the 1500s, and some of them much earlier than that.
the 1500s. And if you're ever on Twitter, you'll notice that Bev thinks that that the only allowable geometry is Euclidean geometry, and when he says Euclidean geometry, he means planar, because he refuses to even accept that Euclid wrote a treatise on spherical trigonometry called Phenomena.
Yeah.
In Bev's mind, that doesn't even exist.
Yeah, that's the thing, because this would, by default prove their theory wrong. Their theory, and a lot of them don't really understand, don't really have a clear idea of what their hypothesis is. When exactly was it decided to launch into this huge fabrication that the Earth is not flat? It must have happened at some point in human history when, and the flat earthers refuse to give a clear answer about that, because pretty much any point that they choose, we can find people before then who were working on a spherical Earth.
Okay. There are no flat earthers in our little voice chat here, and so I'm gonna take up the mantle.
Yes.
And I'm going to say, in my own experience, math has at times been counterintuitive, and codes that I have written, for computers to do things, have produced results that I thought were counterintuitive. And, when confronted with that, when I'm presented with data that is not what I expected, runs counter to my intuition, my instinct is to debunk it. My instinct is to look for bugs in my code, mistakes in my math, and try to reconcile it with my intuition. The last thing that I really want to do is change my intuition. And sometimes I think we don't really appreciate how hard that is. When your intuition says one thing, the very last recourse is to change that.
Well, while that's true, I mean, I had a that's a really cool Lego sculpture.
That is awesome.
I had a problem where I was trying to write a piece of code to do something and it wasn't giving correct results. So I rewrote it from scratch, and I ended up going through this process 3 times, only to discover at the end of the 3rd time that it was actually one of the data sets was wrong. All 3 versions of the code were working. So my instinct that I must have screwed up the code somewhere was actually completely incorrect. The code had been right every single time. I was just using an incorrect data set. So, whilst, your point that overcoming intuition is difficult, it's nonetheless something that you should do if you want to, if you want to really understand something. You need to sort of question all of the assumptions that are going into it, not just the ones that seem shaky to you. And Clive Wells says, to be fair to Bev, he is an idiot. I think that's overestimating Bev, if I'm being honest. Did I drive everybody to sleep?
No, I'm awake.
Good luck driving me to sleep.
Yeah, good luck.
I'm
insomnia. I'm an insomniac.
And I'm a boomer.
Speaking of weird coding, I inherited some code from somebody, and it was I don't know, it was a pagination thing.
Mm-hmm.
You'd pass it the number of items and the number of pages and have it display something like that. And I was passing it in to this function, and it was doing things weird. And I'm like, oh, I'm sending the data wrong. And then I go and I look at the code, and it's pagination, right? So it's like, how many pages do you want to display? 1, 2, 3, right? You pass that variable in.
Yep.
Well, the code that I inherited from this guy didn't do the math to do the pagination. It actually had an if-then statement. If the number of pages is 1, do this. If the number of pages is 2, do this. If the number of pages is 3, do this. If the number of pages is 20, do this.
Okay.
He didn't write
Generalizable code.
generalized code.
This feels like I feel like I'm being trolled.
And I was passing in 4 or 5 or 6, thinking that, of course, the code was going to do what the code should do. And I looked at him like, what the crap was he doing? He didn't even know how to write pagination code. And he just hard-coded the only numbers that ever were going to be passed in his couple examples that he wrote. It's so...
I have a story related to this, but before that, has Judy sorted out her muting problems?
Nope.
Nope. Boomers be boomers.
Boomers are gonna boomer.
Sorry about that.
Boomers gonna boom.
In one of my first university level mathematics tutorials, we got asked to prove that if you have a matrix A, an m by n matrix A, prove that A transpose A is symmetrical. And that was the exercise we were sat, and the tutor said, "Is everybody finished?" And there were a couple of people who hadn't. And she waited a few more minutes and said, "Is everybody finished?" And there was one guy who hadn't. And then a couple of more minutes, and he still hadn't finished. And she said, "How are you trying to do this?" And he said, "By induction on the dimension of the matrices."
What?
Which is completely the wrong way to go about this particular problem.
So, I'm sorry. Say that again. Induction on the
dimension of the matrices.
Wow.
So he would prove it for a 1-by-1 matrix, and
Yeah.
1-by-1
And then
matrix, and then he would have to prove it by induction on the second dimension as well. It's just not how you do it.
He assumes it for
iteratively doing it.
No. He proves it for the 1-by-1. He assumes it for the n by n, and then I guess he then attempts to. But it's tricky.
But it's not m by n. It'll work for any m. It'll work for any m by n matrix. So it's got 2 dimensions, the m and the n.
It's a stretch for induction though. That's not a trivial.
Yeah, that's not something you would do with the induction.
Yeah.
You look at the 2 terms either side of the diagonal and you prove that they're equal, just by using the formula for the entries in the product. So you don't. It's nothing particularly complicated.
A more fun question is to prove why is transpose flipping around the diagonal? Why is that the thing?
Well, that's the definition of transpose, isn't it?
Somebody's echoing.
No.
Yeah, that would be one of my folder.
Right.
Is it me?
I can't be echoing because
Ooh,
Is that Judy?
I am such a boomer.
She unmuted and she's
there's no way I'm the echoer.
it's
Okay.
Judy. She muted
Okay,
herself and
Judy.
there's no more echo.
Yep, it's Judy.
Yeah, no, the transpose flipping around the diagonal is not like self-evident. There's a that can be shown why it has to be the adjoint stuff.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, the flipping
Maybe.
around the diagonal is a consequence, not an axiom.
All right.
You don't hear me, do
Inner
you?
products. It comes down to inner products. And,
Look, we hear you now. We hear you now.
We do hear you without an echo.
but
No
I
echo.
want to know
Yay.
PhD Tony's PhD. I feel like it's physics.
It's geophysics. It was on high resolution techniques for modeling post-glacial rebound and sea level change. Yeah, no, that's exactly what it is, Clive Wells. That's the formula right there.
What formula?
The formula for a transpose.
Are we looking in the YouTube?
There it is, everybody. Judy, could you explain that to the other people?
Well, yeah, but that what Clive Wells has posted is a consequence, not an axiom.
Just so you know, Judy, I'm asking you because I cannot.
I'm the art teacher on the panel. You think I can?
I have no idea.
Maybe this one.
What?
This one.
Oh, well, that one I've got.
That's about Batman. That just says Batman.
I mean,
yeah, this is Batman.
Oh, but see, I didn't see the Batman at first because I'm in math mode.
I see tab. I just see tab. A lot of tabs.
I actually see Batarang because it looks like it keeps coming back around.
Let's see if it's true.
Yeah.
So what is the caret?
Yeah.
The caret is transpose, I assume.
That tab.
What's the comma? Oh, the comma's not familiar to me.
Okay,
I don't know. I decline to think about this further.
You've got the first one, B equals A transpose TA.
Is the comma the inner product there? Is that what he meant?
In some terms, I think it might be, but I think in this case,
you guys are over complicating. That just says Batman.
No, it doesn't just say Batman. He tried to use math against us, and we are rebelling.
Wait, that's what that says? That y'all are rebelling?
That formula is better.
Yes, that's much a better formula. That's much better formula.
That's the Pepe formula. All right. I yield the floor. PhD Tony can say everything that I can say, but better.
Clive Wells says, if you want to say that the transpose of the matrix with respect to a basis of the adjoint of a real inner product, then yes, this can be proven.
Oh, well, that clears it up instantly for me. How about you?
Where are you reading this? Are you guys in the YouTube chat or something?
Yep, in the YouTube chat.
Okay, hold on. I'm rushing them my way there.
So for reference,
Echo, Boomer.
Tony, next week is Santosh Christodos.
Oh, really? Is that sweary guy?
No. You're thinking Santos.
Oh, okay.
The
right.
Australian.
Yeah.
Who's running from Australia because he'd get arrested if he ever went back there. I think.
Wait, Santos Australian?
Yes. Santosh was born in India, but he lives in Canada, and he's super nice. He's like the opposite of Santos as far as being nice. But it's Santosh and Professor Phil Bell.
Oh, that sounds like a good match. Phil Bell is a really excellent educator. I'm fairly certain that he'll be Santosh right.
Yes.
So I owe the channel an apology. There was a horrible echo when I said boomer and stuff, but it turned out that I had just checked on the YouTube live stream, which caused YouTube to play a delayed copy, and boomers will boomer. And to Clive Wells, I just want to say I invoke the Gilbert Strang defense.
Judy's she's looking unusual.
She was on the equator.
Equator. Yeah, the little equator. Yeah.
It's fascinating. I was reading my textbook on the history of the book on the history of trigonometry, and the way they had to phrase things in order to before they had notations, even the use of the equal sign they used to say instead, instead of blah is equal to such and such, they'd say blah is to blah as blah is to blah. And you're just going, I've got, can you just put an equal sign in there and just let me see it? Because you're talking gobbledygook at the moment. It's quite surprising how incomprehensible these older textbooks and discussions of these things are.
I was on you're reading history of trigonometry. I was reading history of flurfers.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the book by Garwood, Christy Garwood.
Oh, okay.
Very good book. When I finish it, I'm going to see if I can get her to come on. It's an older book, but it's really good.
Yeah. Well, it is weird, and to me, they're only flat earthers are one subset of a much larger group that sort of attack science and undermine it at every possible turn, and they make it very difficult to have meaningful public discussions about issues. I think it's quite sinister the attitude that they take, because society depends on us being able to communicate, us being able to trust one another, and us being able to cooperate with one another. And it is very unusual for a flat earther to cooperate, to communicate, or to trust. They undermine the very fabric on which society depends.
Is that you, AstroZoom?
What?
Little background noise coming in.
Oh, sorry.
And Roland was muted. Yeah, so this is...
Whoa. Just because there's background noise doesn't mean suspect Roland and check if he's muted.
No, it was not you. I was suspecting it was AstroZoom.
No, you suspected the boomer.
No, I checked you. You were already muted, so I knew it wasn't you. But so the history that so far it's about Robotham and his couple henchmen that he got going in England in the late 1800s. Keith M. PhD Tony, as I've started on multiple debates I've listened in on, flirfs spend the entire discussion insulting those of us who both do research or educate on a professional level. Oh yeah, they hate educators.
They hate education. Yeah. They hate education in general.
So the one nice thing about Robotham is he created his own version of not science, right? Whatever it was that he thought was going to reveal the truth of the universe. And he did not call it science. He called it zeticism. He had the decency to call the thing that he was proposing to understand the truth of the universe something other than science, because the word science has already been taken. This current round of flirfs, they have invented their own version, which is not really zeticism. But it's science denial, just like zeticism was. And they biggest bait and switch. It's just denialism, and they call it science.
Yep. So
pseudoscience. It's just pseudoscience.
It is pseudoscience.
It's not pseudoscience. It's because they don't even try to test anything or to do anything, or all they do is denialism. It's they have their, well, what's the naturally observed phenomenon? Well, if you don't have that, then it's out. No, that's denialism. What's the independent and dependent variable? Well, if you don't have that, it's out. That's denialism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Time, they say, can't be an independent variable. If you use that, it's out. It's all these things that they do to reject actual science.
Yeah, but on that basis, they reject the entirety of science. In which case, what are they doing using a computer?
Or poets.
Using electricity, or
Yeah.
cars, or any of the other
Indoor
things,
plumbing.
things that science has given them. To answer what is up's question, what
I
they do.
use a cell phone, but I do not claim to understand the physics that went into engineering the processor inside the phone, or the understanding that went into designing the multiple antennas and how they work. So I use technology without understanding the many, many complicating factors all the time.
But you acknowledge that we use science in order to create that technology. That there are people out there that understand how that technology works and can put it together for us, and keep it functioning properly.
Yeah. To answer what is up's question, the geometry of the entire network of the entire GPS network, receiver stations, and satellites is solved for, based on the time at which the signals are received and the timestamps on the signals, so that we know the time at which the signals from the satellites were emitted. We know the time that they were received. We can solve for the geometry of the entire network. And we can also solve for various characteristics, like the delays caused by passage through the ionosphere, for instance, and various other factors. So yeah. Because as has been pointed out to you, we know what the speed of light is. So we know how fast these signals are traveling.
And yet they'll deny that even.
Yeah, they will deny that. And this is one of the things. This is one of the. I got into a conversation with Sleeping Warrior, and I said, well, we can verify that that general relativity is real. What is up? I just explained to you that the speed of the signal does change, and we model that and we factor it in. Please pay attention to what is being explained to you.
For reference, that is sea lioning.
Yeah, that's
asking different questions over and over and ignoring the answer.
So
isn't it asking the same question over and over?
No. You can ask variations on it. You just explore, and you just say, I'm just asking questions. I'm just asking questions. So the next, I was talking with Anthony Riley about, and said we know general relativity is accurate because we observe gravitational time dilation at Earth's surface. And he said, well, we predict that too. And I go, well, show me your quantitative analysis, because Einstein was able to give the precise formula that you could use to calculate that, and was able to make predictions, and he was able to use Newton's values for the strength of gravitational potential at Earth's surface to determine what the delay would be. So yeah. You're quite right, Clive Wells. This conversation was some time ago. I haven't talked to Sleeping Warrior in many years. Well, many months at least.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Warrior's the worst.
We have a new person in the chat.
Yes, Danny Jones.
Good morning from the UK. It's 8:10. I just woke up to see you all still alive. Fair play to you.
Good morning.
How are we all? Hey, Tony, I've been following you for a long time. Long time.
Thank you
well,
very much.
And MC2, what can I say? I followed you from the day one, I think now. Brilliant. Absolute brilliance.
Danny debated Mark Steele before I did.
Oh,
And I know nothing, and I know nothing about 5G, and I still beat him.
Yes.
Yeah, that was funny. I've had Kate Shimwani, I've had Lee Garrett and Mark Steele all, trolling me, attacking me, the usual. But yeah, it's funny. It's very funny. Big respect to you two guys. I don't know Rolling My Boulder. Sorry about that. I don't know Ashizumi, but yeah, you two guys I've been following for quite a while.
Hey, yeah, you're not missing anything. I'm a boomer.
You're not really missing anything. I'm just an animated cartoon person.
Yeah,
I'm the resident flat earther tonight.
Oh, right, okay.
Well,
he's not actually a flat earther, and neither is he actually a boomer.
No,
I think you're running out of flat earthers now. I think they're all running scared now. I think they're all
they certainly seem to be huddled close together for their own safety in general, which is a desirable thing. To be brutally honest, I don't think that these flat earthers like Bite Mahaggis, for instance, completely unsalvageable. They refuse point blank any attempt to educate them or to remediate their situation. They're living in ignorance, and they're apparently happy with that. So it's
not
best
just happy.
They
demand to remain ignorant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Nathan, I think we all agree Nathan's probably the worst in the UK anyway, without a doubt. So I've debated Nathan as well for about 10 minutes, but he just lost his temper as normal. Standard Nathan.
That's all he does,
I think his channel would die if Globe Earthers just stopped going on there for him to yell at. That's what his audience really want. His audience are just there to see him yell at Globe Earthers. And if Globe Earthers stopped turning up to be yelled at, that channel would quickly become completely pointless.
Yeah.
Then he'd just start yelling at other flat earthers like he did with plenty of times. Like he's done
yes, but that only harms his channel. It doesn't do his channel any good. It doesn't do his channel, and it doesn't do the other dude's channel. It just shows the sort of pointless tribalism of the entire exercise.
I was arguing with a flat earther a few nights ago, and then he told me point blank, this is not science, this is sport. These servers are arenas for sport, and that's what this is.
Well, I mean, sorry.
Like that one flat earther MC2 had on a couple weeks back, who came in like a WWE person. I can't remember his name right now. Takori, yes, that's him. It's all sport to them. They don't care about actual truth.
I don't think that's limited to quote them. I think
I'm still laughing. I'm still laughing at Cation. I'm still laughing at that.
Trey. Trey.
I think a lot of us are here for the sport of it.
Oh yeah, this is entertainment for intelligent people.
I'm just here to laugh at stupid people.
Yeah.
Well, it's this is part of it. There are people who deserve to be laughed at, and they parade their stupid proudly, and they deserve to be ridiculed because that's what their position deserves. Some of them are genuinely pathetic, though. There was a guy Toons talked to a couple of times. Described me as the Antichrist.
Oh yeah, the guy that
I can't remember, but he's quite.
He always had the background. He had a fake background.
Well, actually, he looked like he was a homeless person in a tent. If I'm being brutally honest, but he was.
That's not the guy I was thinking of.
He was.
I know who you're talking about. I remember exactly what you're talking about. I can't remember his name though.
But he really needs quite serious help. The problem is, however, that a lot of these people who are quite seriously ill if they're not going to get better, nobody's interested. So if they're just going to stay ill, if there's no hope of sort of remediating them, then the system basically just patches them up and puts them back out on the street. So
and we've sort of named it YouTube psychosis because it seems like they're self-programming themselves. They watch for the analytics and the videos. They'll watch a flat Earth video, then there's about 10 down the right-hand side they can watch. And after about 2 hours worth of flat Earth videos, they're convinced. It's like self-programming. It's weird.
Yeah.
Well,
Who was the guy? MC Toon, help me out. Who was the guy? He sat in a gamer chair. He had a fake background. He had a friend that was very controversial, and like everybody.
Shane St. Pierre.
Yeah,
Shane St. Pierre. Yeah, we've had him on. Shane is actually nice.
That's who I thought Tony was talking about at first.
No.
He seems Ryan Casey.
Yeah,
Ryan
that would
Casey.
be him.
But he believes every single conspiracy theory you throw at him, and then even if they, especially if they contradict each other.
Yeah, so there is a lot of there's a lot of conspiracy theory thinking to all of this, and it's difficult for them to untangle that just because we're saying that a particular conspiracy theory isn't true doesn't mean we're necessarily saying that all conspiracy theories are true. We're not saying that the government never lies to you. We're not saying that the government must always be trusted. But, that's different. What flat earthers are asking us to believe is that basically anything you believe could just be a lie, could just be revealed to be a lie at any point.
To expand on that, there are certain things I do trust the government on, say vaccines, any science that they put forward, like NASA puts forward, or any medical science that the government pushes forward. However, there are some things I don't trust them on, like them allowing Trump to stay free right now while he had secret documents that. But this is a science channel, not a politics channel, so I'll get off that.
Well, but it does. This is the thing. So let's take it into a different arena. I'm sure you're all aware that the chess world is abuzz at the moment due to a recent controversy. The former world champion dropped out of a tournament, saying, "I'm not going to say anything. If I say anything, I'll get in trouble." And the conclusion immediately was that his opponent had cheated. That was the conclusion that a lot of people
cheated in chess.
Cheated in chess. Yes.
How's that possible?
How do you cheat in chess?
Well, you can use a computer, right? If you can get computers moved, there are multiple ways. So there are a couple of suspicious things about what happened. So in his game against the world champion, this guy had prepared an opening, but this was an opening that the world champion had never played before. So why did he prepare it? And so there's evidence to think, right, that something fishy is going on here. How did he happen to have the computer line for this opening on hand? And he can explain it like, well, I memorized it the night before the game. Why? Why did you memorize this opening? He's never played it before in his entire professional career. Why are you doing this? So, you can come up with conspiracy theories either way. Either, the world champion is just having a hissy fit and, casting accusations wildly, or there is some truth to this accusation. And the reality is that there are indicators both ways. There's no conclusive evidence that any cheating occurred. But you need to reserve judgment. You don't need to leap to a position and just say, I can't be shaken from this position. We don't have enough evidence yet. Something's happened. Let's look at the evidence before we come to a conclusion. Let's not leap to a conclusion and then defend it regardless of what the evidence is. And I think there's too much of
stick to
latter.
Innocent before guilty. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Oh, there was a chess robot in Russia that did break a kid's fingers, but that was the kid was worn so it was a mechanical robot. It was moving pieces, and the kid a 7-year-old put his hand over the board when he shouldn't have. There's a but that wasn't the controversy I was referencing.
Tony, I challenge you 5 minutes each side right here, right now.
All right, chess.
No,
Or
checkers.
Checkers, okay.
Yes, of course, chess. What were we
All
just
right.
talking about chess? I thought it was
we were just talking about chess. Which probably made it sound like I'm a chess player.
Yes,
not really.
it did.
You should try playing. You should try playing this game, FPS chess.
FPS chess.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know if there's any flat earthers who actually know how to play chess.
Oh,
Yeah,
many
like
flat
chess.
earthers. Flat earthers are better at chess than you might expect.
Yes.
It's like chess. FPS chess is like chess. It's a video game. It's like chess. Only whenever you actually go to a piece, you're instead given the role of that chess piece, which all have different abilities, and it's basically a FPS match, a first-person shooter match.
Oh, okay. All right.
And whoever wins that piece wins that contest, and then you go on and play more chess.
There is a sport called boxing chess, where you have to play chess games between rounds of boxing. So,
Nice.
so if you get hit in the head a lot, your chess might suck. There are all sorts of sports out there. I'd be happy to play chess, but it wouldn't be. We wouldn't be able to broadcast it, so I think it would be leaving people out of the fun. I'm actually a Go player.
You could broadcast it easily. Use OBS to capture the. Instead of using a physical board, you could use a chess program on the computer and play it online and broadcast it.
Well, they can do that somewhere else.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not going to put that on here.
But actually, I'm a Go player by preference. So I'm
Koro no Go.
Well, that's the
anime.
Same game. Yeah.
Go,
so I'm a 5-dan. I'm a 5-dan Go player, and I'm about a 1300 chess player. So not at all the same sort of level. Anyway.
Go's fun too. Go is fun too.
Yeah. How the heck do you move a single chess piece with boxing gloves on? You do Go is not Connect 4 for geniuses, and yes, I do remember Battle Chess on the C64.
Go is Connect 4 for geniuses.
How do you move a chess piece with boxing gloves on? Very carefully. Very carefully.
There's did you guys hear the tragedy, the Nintendo tragedy that occurred last week?
No,
what happened?
So Nintendo originally were a playing card company. That was what they did originally. And there was this collector who had 2 packs of Nintendo playing cards from the 1920s, because there was a growth of gambling dens in Kyoto. So they made these special packs of cards, and these were sort of incredibly valuable heirlooms. But he decided to open them and check out the cards. And as soon as he opened them, it became obvious that the cards, they weren't lacquered or laminated or anything. They just sort of fused into a solid lump of basically wood pulp. So they were worthless. There was no value to them. So they were valuable right up until he opened them.
Wow.
Wow.
Ardo Rissanen says, make PhD Tony bingo cards so we can play bingo when Tony is here next time.
There's an app for that. There's an app for that.
There's an app for that. You're going to have to talk to people about what should be on the
I'll
bingo
have to
card.
go back in 5 minutes.
There's an online Go game. You can play Go online using an app.
Yeah, I can. I know how to do that, but I'm not in charge of OPS. So, yeah.
Well, we've been going for 2.5 hours.
Yep, we have.
So, and it's 2:30 a.m. and I work tomorrow.
Then you should get some sleep.
I shall. Yeah. And I know Danny just said he's got to go. He'll be back in 5 minutes. I don't know if he had to step outside to have a smoke or if he's whatever, but we might be gone by the time he gets back. Oh, we've got one more from What Is Up. The speed of radio signals certainly doesn't equal in the atmosphere to the speed of it in a vacuum.
And we solve for the delays caused by traveling through the atmosphere. I don't know how to explain it any more clearly.
Yeah,
we understand that there are atmosphere, in particular, ionospheric display. The passage through the ionosphere introduces significant delays, and you get errors if you don't solve for them. But we stratify the ionosphere, and we solve for the delay in each pit of the ionosphere to get the best model overall. We understand that the signal speed is not constant, and we solve for it. I don't know what is so difficult about this. Yeah, I'm going to leave it. Thanks, Dora. Always here to back me up.
Dora's the best. We need to get. I want to get her on sometime.
Yeah, that would be great.
I think that if I know her a little bit, I think that what would really get her would be things that OCD people notice. Like an extra space in a sentence, right? An M space instead of an N space in words, or crooked picture frames on the wall. So I think just going through a series of those types of things for her, just listening to the responses would be the entertainment that we all need.
So MC.
Yes.
I have been diagnosed with CDO.
Yes, where it's in alphabetical order the way it should be.
You got it.
Yeah.
Am I alone? I have a rather extensive DVD collection and Blu-ray collection. Am I alone here on the panel in sorting them in alphabetical order?
I sorted them by genre.
I'm sorry, what are DVDs? That's
I used to sort them by. I'd sort them in alphabetical order and by genre.
You talking about VHS?
No, I'm not.
8-track? 8-track?
No, not even that. Okay.
Old
Mute donkey.
There you go.
No, I do the same though.
We solve for it. What is up? We solve for it. We allow for delays in the signal.
Okay,
Mute donkey backs me up. So yes.
I'll be honest, Tony. It is more important that the size of the cases go in a sensible way than the letters on the labels.
Well, that's certainly true for books, but
it's
also
true. It's true for everything.
All DVDs are the same size. So I don't know what.
That's not true.
Well, it is when I buy them.
Yeah, he'll only buy the DVDs that are the right size.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. What is up? If you want to debate Tony, then or
Just
maybe,
again, we have a
he
bunch
wants to
of
take a class.
signals. We have a bunch of signals, and we have a bunch of receivers. We've got lots of receivers and lots of information. We have lots of things that we can solve for. One of them is the position of everything, and another thing is the delays. Because we have so many receivers and so many satellites that we can, and so much time, we don't just have the one signal, we have lots and lots of signals, and we can solve for these things. There's lots and lots of data, we can get lots and lots of stuff for it. If you want to know the specifics of how it's done, I suggest you do a 3-year course in surveying or geodesy or geophysics, and then you do a 2 years master's. And by the end of that, you'll have a fantastic understanding. But I can't distill that data down into a YouTube video for you. People do it, and they are very careful about how they do it.
Also, you can't do it into 4th grade understanding either.
Yes.
Oh, come on. You know they can't even understand the 4th grade. You have to break it down to kindergarten understanding for a flat earther.
Yeah. If you want me to if you want me to nerd out, and people do like it when I nerd out, it comes down to a least squares problem, where you're solving for the parameters, and again you're using an A transpose WA plus C constraint in the middle of so A transpose WA is the relationship between the partial derivatives of the observables and the observable itself. You might turn that into a square matrix. You multiply by the various weights. You add your constraint matrices in, and then you solve for that. And that'll give you the parameter values for everything. It'll give you the coordinates for all of your stations, and it'll give you the delays for your various ionospheric layers. Do you know any more now than you did when I started talking?
Well, I had questions about whether the regularization was Tikhonov or something else I hadn't yet heard of, and how you accounted for the covariances. And yes,
well, the covariances are things that we solve for and print out.
They might not be things you solve for, but they're things you account for.
I have an option for what is
yes.
up. The GPS specification is openly published. Go read it.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's quite lengthy.
It is quite lengthy, and would you believe that there are people who dedicate their entire careers to it? The whole thing that they, if you've got lots of data, you can get lots of information out of it, and you seem to be treating it like there's one signal. There's a signal from one satellite to one station. No, there are lots and lots of signals from lots and lots of satellites to lots and lots of stations, which allows us to solve the entire system. And we allow the delay, the ionospheric delay, to vary as a function of time, because obviously it will. This entire your entire line of questioning is based in ignorance, and that's okay. You don't know what you're talking about. That's fine. But it's actually a very complicated and detailed process, and there's a lot of thought that goes into it. We actually have, I work more on the GRACE satellites, which are the gravity recovery and climate experiment satellites. But we do have problems with our regularization there, because it can be, we're trying to make it something other than, we think it should be like this. We're trying to come up with some way of regularizing the mass changes that is entirely. We can solve for the distances between the satellites and everything else, and we can solve for the relative positions of the system. What is up? I've explained this multiple times, and again, you just did what I told you shouldn't do. You're thinking about one satellite and one receiver, you need to think about dozens of satellites and hundreds of receiver stations making observations every 5 to 10 seconds, right? Not just one observation. They're doing, thousands of observations every single day, right? Each satellite and receiver station pair. There is just so much information in there. Anyway.
All right. Well, he does not want to learn. He thinks it's a gotcha. So it's not a gotcha. You just you don't want to learn. That's you. But anyway, people, thank you very much to Roland, PhD Tony, AstraZoom, Judy, and Danny Jones Hoax Police, and to everybody in the live chat. Thank you for joining on Thursday at 10 p.m. Central Time. DMOC, if you want a dumpster fire, I will be live streaming on this channel and on probably the Toon Show channel, the Cold Moonlight Experiment on Saturday. And then next Tuesday is Professor Phil Bell and Santosh. Not Santos, Santosh. Everybody, thanks a lot, and we'll see you then.
Take care.